Red, red, red.
Well, the boys around here don't listen to the Beatles run. Old Bo Cephas threw a jukebox needle at the honky-tonk where their boots stomp all night. What? Yeah, and what they call work a digging in the dirt. Gotta get it in the ground before the rain come down to get paid, to get your girl in your four-wheel drive. Yeah, the boys around here drinking that ice-cold beer, talking about girls, talking about trucks, running them red dirt roads out, kicking up dust. The boys around here sending up a prayer to the man upstairs. Backwoods legit, don't take no lip. Shoot a back, shoot a back, shoot a back, spit. Oh, heck. Well, the boys around here, they're keeping it country. Ain't a damn one know how to do the Dougie. No, I'm not in Kentucky, but these girls around here, yep, they still love me. Yeah, the girls around here, they all deserve a whistle. Shaking that sugar sweet as Dixie Crystal. They like that yawling southern drawl and just can't help it 'cause they just keep falling for the boys around here, drinking that ice cold beer, talking about girls, talking about trucks, running them red dirt roads out, kicking up dust. The boys around here sending up a prayer to the man upstairs. Backwoods legit, don't take no lip. Shoot her back, shoot her back, shoot her back, spit.
Let's ride through the countryside. Let's ride down to the riverside.
Hey now, girl, hop inside. It's me and you gonna take a little ride to the river. Let's ride. That's right. Lay a blanket on the ground. Kissing in the crickets is the only sound. We out of town. Have you ever got down with a do you wanna get down with a girl, you gotta get down with the boys around here, drinking that ice cold beer, talking about girls, talking about trucks, running them red dirt roads out, kicking up dust. The boys around here sending up a prayer to the man upstairs. Backwoods legit, don't take no lip. Shoot her back, shoot her back, shoot her back. I'm one of them boys around here, drinking that ice cold beer, talking about girls, talking about trucks, running them red dirt roads out, kicking up dust. The boys around here sending up a prayer to the man upstairs. Backwoods legit, don't take no lip. Shoot her back, shoot her back, shoot her back, spit.
Welcome to the Wing It Call, June 17th, 2016. Who'd have thought we would be here? So let's all take a knee, please. Lord, please hear our prayers today. My brothers and sisters are crying out from the desert. We need some relief, please. Just like Moses and his followers, we just need some relief. Will you give us some guidance? Give us an understanding heart, ears to hear with. And generally, we need your guidance. No, I demand your guidance as this blessing comes down. With the wave of your hand, you can bring all this to rest, but I understand that it's in your time. Just could you bring it a little quicker? And I know that you only put upon us no more than what we can stand. But I got to say, I'm getting a little weary, Father, and my shoulders are getting heavy. Could you give us a break, please? In Jesus Christ's name, amen. So, my wingman has not shown up yet, but no big deal. We'll go to Art. Come on down.
Yes, sir. Good
Go ahead.
afternoon to you. You ready to go? Did you got to do your disclaimer? And are you recording?
Oh yeah. The recording's going. Forgot the disclaimer. My bad. We're not attorneys. We're not CPAs. We're not financial advisors. We're not giving legal advice. Seek legal advice. Nothing we say is construed to be legal advice. This is just our opinion. And for the rest of the disclaimer, please go to thewingitcall.com, and on the home page there, you'll find a disclaimer tab. Please click on the disclaimer for the rest of the disclaimer. Art, go ahead.
Yes, good afternoon to you and everybody else out there in Dinar land. Beautiful Friday here in Tennessee. Weather a little bit cooler. So everything is good. There's so much stuff out there generally that you don't know what's right, what's not, what's true, what's not. If you listen to Bruce's call last night or read the notes from it, that pretty well sums up, I think, where most people think we are at. We should have gone down last night as far as we knew. Okie was so sure because he was told we were getting numbers, and he had me call Bruce to tell him he's going to land. And we did, and he didn't land yet. He's still up there. Poor guy, okay, you're up there burning too much fuel. So he'll land soon. We thought sure last night was it, but it's all geopolitical, let me just say that. They're working on it. They'll get it taken care of, I'm sure. And so I'd say it could be any time, today, tomorrow, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. It's been going on for a while, and we know we're going to get it, and we're all going to be busy once it happens. So just hang in there, everybody, and let them work it out. If it's geopolitical, just let them work it out. They'll do it in due time. So we'll just kind of leave the intel, I think, at that, and nothing really specific that we want to get into even. And so that's about it. I mean, it's just the way it is, and just hang in there. It's all we can say. So we'll just say adios, amigos, today to everybody, and hope we don't have to have another one of these calls on Monday. Would be nice. I know Jerry would like to not have this call on Monday, so let's hope it turns out that way. And we'll talk to everybody later. Bye.
Bye, Art. Thank you. Star 2 to raise your hand. Star 2 to raise your hand. So, got an email. You know, I said we don't care what the other sites are doing, but what I do care about is a little disinformation. And I got an email from a member that sent it to the WINGIT call. So this is about, well, we're going to get past it. This was about Bruce's call last night, but what this is about is the Paris Agreement that Joseph is talking about. They did some research, looked at the Paris Agreement, read the whole thing along with all the links and what they followed it as far as they could, and nowhere in there could they find anything about the GCR or backing the currencies with gold in that agreement. I did a little research, and neither could I. So what I'm asking is if somebody out there can also read the Paris Agreement. I couldn't find it, but let's all do a little research and see if we can find it. Maybe they're hiding it in there. You wouldn't think so. We're being told it's there. So I'm putting out a call, an all call. Maybe somebody can find a link in there that talks about it, but so far the couple of people have contacted me cannot find anything in the Paris Agreement to validate what Joseph is talking about. I'm not throwing him underneath the bus. In no way I'm doing that. I just can't verify what's being talked about. It's kind of like some other things that we've heard about. I personally can't wait for the Republic to come in. Have we seen anything about it yet? No, but I think they're going to keep that hidden for a while. What goes on behind scenes, and if we knew about it, I think that it would bring a lot of civil unrest, so I think it's going to roll out slowly if we get to that point. I'm hoping we're at that point. Not bashing anybody. What I'm asking is maybe for just a little verification, if possible. So on the Paris Treaty, if we can do a little more research, I'm researched out almost every day on some things I'm looking at, asking for a little help. So that being said, let's go up here a little higher. Let me get to this one here. Let's see, this person's been in it for 3 years, and he just wants to know, is it going to go down this month? Well, I'm hoping so, but I tweeted out, and I say this with all due respect. No one is going to know the date or the rate beforehand, because we've been told if some people did, it could be the hedge fund people, the bond people, or whoever's trying to maybe get a leg up, get ahead of the curve and make some money, could get hedged up on this. I hope that you understand that. That being said, we're also been told that this new system is going to alleviate things like that, the new SIP system, by taking the old SWIFT system out of the game. I guess somebody, I wish I could wire some money overseas to somebody to find out if the paperwork or the screens have done away with the SWIFT system and they're going to the new SIP system. I know that when I used to get my currency from Dinar Banker, we all know who that turned into. For a while there, you had to wire your money overseas through one bank, and then it would come back to them, and you could see that it was on the SWIFT system. So if anybody can do anything like that to verify, just some common sense redneck thinking, if things are changing, maybe the screens are changing, and it says something different if you're to wire money overseas, because that's what that was. I can't remember the acronym for SWIFT, but I'm sure I'll get emails about it here in a second. What else here? What is this one here? Oh, here it is. Do you think there is a possibility this might drag out until the end of the month or into next month? You always shoot straight. Just tell us if you think that's possible. Anything's possible, but we're looking at the market. Copper is a big thing. Your commodities. I had spoke with Iko earlier today, and we were talking about the shipping. Shipping is moving around left and right. And then I asked the question, I said, well, are any of them coming to the U.S.? And he was going to look into that, because we could get into an economic blockade that could also bring a lot of, if the whole world is upset with us and they're putting pressure on us, They say that not one person is holding this up, but we keep hearing that the Chinese are in control. Somebody's in control, and let's go on this for a second, that the Chinese are in total control. They've got our best interest at heart, which I'm thinking they do. We really won't know for sure until the proof is in the pudding. There you go. There's a good analogy, until we get to the bank. But let's say that they're in control and they've got control of the markets, all the markets, and they're starting to squeeze this sponge to get compliance, because the quickest way to get anybody's attention is to hit them in the pocketbook. And I've said over and over, this is about power and money. Well, we've heard that they're starting to strip away their power. And if this new system really does have control and nobody can hide anything, well, that means the accounts that the cabal have, of course, some people say there isn't such a thing as the cabal, but we're going to use that for our terminology here, that they're starting to squeeze them through their pocketbooks, maybe freeze their accounts. We're to the point now that I guess we're reaching into the higher ups, and money isn't the big thing, it's power. How do you supersede, take it away to a point to get compliance or capitulation to make this kick off? I know that I'm going in a wide circle here, but we've talked about this for a while, and if you're new to the call, I'm sorry. If you have any questions, just talk to your friends or some people, or if you're in the forum or other forums, they'll get you up to speed pretty quick. But this is where we're at. Could it go into next month? I hope not. But we're only less than 2 weeks away, and so I'm going to bring this up. They say it's not true, but let's look at it from a bean counter standpoint. And my wingman showed up here, so I still want to bring this about. And then we'll take some callers here after he brings in his input. So from the bean counter standpoint, or governmental bean counters, governments only pay and do things quarterly. So let's look at it this way. January, February, March, April 1st, beginning of those first three, end of the first month, first quarter. Second quarter starts April 1st. April, May, June. End of June ends the second quarter. July 1st begins a new quarter. We're right here at the end of a quarter. Do they want to clean their books up before this kicks off? Start off the new quarter with new money? I don't know. I'm just talking off the top of my head or out of my butt, either way. But that's my redneck bean counter governmental stinking thinking. Could we wait till July 1st when a new quarter begins with new money? Out with the old, in with the new? I don't know. I know that's not anything anybody wants to hear, but I'm shooting straight and telling you what a possibility could be from my thinking. But as Art said, this is geopolitical, and it could go at any time. So who knows? Let me stop rambling there for a minute. Wingman.
Hey,
anything?
sorry.
No, go ahead.
Sorry I'm late. I was rocking out the blood, sweat, and tears going down the highway here, and suddenly I saw your text. Yeah, I'm sorry I missed Art's input, but definitely the topic of the day is the geopolitical condition. There's a lot of folks out there, not denarians. We're talking about straight economics folks. The bond market is in a shambles. It's getting to the point where people look at the stock markets worldwide and laugh because, what are they going to think of next? I know a lot of us need this money yesterday. But the Chinese have been doing things with the rates, making them better for us. They've got their own selfish reasons for doing that, but we are the benefactors. The rates are going up again. Not out into fantasy land, but they're going up. They're going to be better. It's going to make us wealthier, and these are real world rates, not fantasy land rates. So bear that in mind in the next couple of weeks. Everybody seems to be in agreement that it won't go past the 30th because of the quarterly accounting mechanisms. Also because the Chinese, it looks like, and I can't verify this yet, I don't quite understand it, but based on the conversations I had today, it looks like they've come up with a way to sweep more U.S. dollars off the street initially through the international rate and what I'll call the market rates. And there's more intel coming in literally by the hour now. I think that's probably going to be the economic discussion over the weekend. And yes, it still could happen 30 seconds from now or by the end of the month. Nobody's ever going to know for the same reasons that Jerry just said. There are too many high-powered folks out there with supercomputers who could take advantage of those windows. So they're just gonna blow it down. It's just gonna come down, and there it is. There also seems to be some confirmation, some pretty good confirmation, that they are testing the system all over the world. People are getting to exchange, and they're not high-powered special folks. They're just somebody, a bank somewhere, who said, throw out a test case. Let's see if everything works at your bank or in your system. So, we're creeping up to a full-blown RV, and it's going to be, and it's going to stay confusing until we do. I don't listen to Dinar Land Intel anymore. I only listen to outside economists, bankers, industrialists, hedge fund operators. Those are the people I've started to listen to, because the misinformation that we're getting is now to the point of being ludicrous. Even the conversation amongst mainline economists is what are they going to do to the market today? How can they manipulate the market today? How can gold be? Gold rose and fell $35 last night. Now, who does that make sense to? Number one, and who did that in the middle of the night at the point where the shift goes from London to New York? The tricks that are going on right now as people vie for position in an RV world and an asset-backed world you can't figure out what the next one's going to be, because it's like a barrel full of monkeys. You don't know what they're going to do. But most entities, from what I'm hearing now, are pointing their finger at the U.S. dollar, not necessarily the U.S., but the U.S. dollar, and saying, this thing's got to go. How fast can we get rid of it? And what do we have to do to make it disappear? And even if we do one thing today and that doesn't work, we're going to do something else tomorrow. The U.S. dollar is like public enemy number one now on the world stage, on the world economic stage. And I was reminded again by a guy I was speaking to. He's a professional bond trader and platform trader. And he said that people simply forget how huge of an endeavor this really is. You know, the entire world is changing how it operates economically. And here we are, you know, and we're worried about our back pockets, which we should be. I'm just as worried about mine as everybody else. But you got to remember how big a deal this is. This is a historic event. This is a millennial event. So it is coming. Don't worry about that. And we are going to be wealthy. Don't worry about that. And it looks like we're going to be even more wealthy than we thought we were. Forgetting about Fantasyland. Just keeping your feet on the ground. You're going to be wealthier than you were going to be last week. So that's it. I guess that's my my spiel for today.
Well, maybe that wasn't enough. Maybe I want more.
That's fine. That's fine. I think something people can take away. There are going to be vehicles for those who really want to shoot for the moon and then manage the moon. You're going to get your shot. Now, whether you can handle it is another thing entirely, and whether the people who are funding this feel you can handle it, that's another discussion. That's going to be an individual moment for each of us. So on one hand, you can look at the crazy rates and you can say, yes, I'm going to have an opportunity at some pretty incredible rates. But it's not just walking in and saying, hi, you know, my name's Bill and I want whatever for my Zim. That is not going to be how it happens. You got to prove yourself that you're a worthy partner with the people who control the money. They want to disperse this money. They are being encouraged to give people the opportunity to disperse this money, but they're not going to give it to somebody who can't handle it. They're just not. It doesn't make good business sense. And that's how you can test all of this intelligence that we're getting. Does it make good business sense?
Okay, so I want to say something. It's going to be off topic just a tad, but we're still talking about the banks.
Hold on, I got to mute out.
There he goes. I'll repeat it twice. I just want you to listen carefully. Do some research. I did mine I just Googled and read about banks. Find some banks that have a state charter versus a federal charter. I'll say that again. If you find a bank that you like, Google it and see if it has a state charter and not a federal charter. So there's a bank in Texas that I'm going to use called Frost Bank. They gave up their federal charter back in 2009 or 2010 and went back to a state charter. I like that a whole lot better. So something to think about, something to look into, and usually if you find a bank like that, they're strictly within the state. There's another bank here called Prosperity Bank, but they're in a couple different states, so they have a federal charter. I like them. They're a smaller bank, but they have a federal charter, so I nixed them off my Christmas list to put money in post RV. So look into that. Once the post RV happens, stick some money over in there. I think you'll be all right there too. It's just another way to protect your assets. Okay, so this person right here probably has something to say about that. Sherman, Texas. Come on down.
Hey, Jerry, thank you. I don't have anything to say about Frost Bank or state or federal charters, but I want to add a little bit to your SWIFT system versus the SIPS system. The SWIFT system is not going away. They created the SIPS system to do an override so that both systems, in theory, will run fluently and congruently. Obviously, that didn't happen in technology world, so now they have what I am calling a patch, my word, not theirs. They have a patch that's called PROMIS, P-R-O-M-U-S, and in technology words, that's a patch to assist SWIFTs and SIPs to shake hands and move forward, and I wouldn't be the least bit surprised if this is not what's been holding us up.
Well, and something else to think about, and I know that we're getting a little off task or off topic, but we just wing it here at the WINGIT call, is the cabal owns, if not 100%, then 99.9% of the central banks. Kind of like the Fed, it's a private lending institution that prints money and then loans it to the U.S., and then we pay them back for the for the use of our own money. That sounds like
double dipping.
What do you call? No. What do you call that? Loan shark rates.
Well, I was going to use a word not quite as kind as yours. Another thing this PROMIS system can do is it can take that deposit or that piece of currency and it can track it back 40 steps.
Good.
They go from bank to bank, pocket to pocket, 40 steps. So that is going to clean up a lot of that corruption.
Absolutely. Now, and so we have to have something like this, because if the cabal owns all of the central banks in almost every country in the world except for Russia and in China, and I
wouldn't discount Russia.
No, Russia kicked them out. Russia kicked out the Rothschilds. Yes, they did. Kicked them to the curb like a bad girlfriend. No, not theater. They have outstanding warrants. They have outstanding international or Russia warrants for George Soros or any Rothschild that steps foot inside their country.
Good. Okay. All right, I'm going to get out. Thank you so much. It's a good call.
You're welcome. So we're having to deal with all the central banks. This racket, there's the word I'm looking for, racket. Isn't that a heck of a racket? Go in a country, get them to pass some laws. I wish they'd do it for me. I tell you what, let me have control of your money. I'll print it up. I'll loan it back to you for interest. And of course, there's penalties on top of that. If you default, then you're going to have to give me some of your minerals or reserves to cover that. What a way! Oh, that sounds like the IMF and the World Bank. I better stop while I'm getting ahead here. Hell, I might be getting a knock on the door here pretty soon. Aiko, words of wisdom before we go to our second caller?
No, go to the second caller. Otherwise, you're going to hear the robot at the cashier's office here. So,
okay, bye. All right.
I'll be back in 5 minutes.
All right. Victoria, British Columbia. Come on down.
Is that me?
That's you.
Oh, wonderful. I absolutely love that. I had a myriad of questions, but I'm just going to confirm it just to where I'm going. On the Zim, everyone seems to be telling us that they're only going to be accepting $50 and $100 trillion dollar notes. I happen to also have $10 trillion notes. And so my question, and I have 300 of them. And so I was just kind of curious, is that equivocal to $100 trillion notes?
Are you saying that you've heard that they're only going to take the 100T and the 50T notes?
That's what seems to be going around, but I've also been told that they're going to take anything that comes in, but when someone talks about the 10 trillion, they just sort of, run and hide. No one wants to say anything. So I would like to know whether or not the $10 trillion notes have any value relative to the 150T notes, and are they valuable by themselves, or do they have to equal a certain amount in order to be exchanged?
Well, we've heard that they're going to take all Zim notes with the 3 rocks on them.
Okay, that's excellent. That's exactly what I have, and that just makes me really happy.
All right.
All right, so thanks very much. Have a great day, and bless you all.
Thank you very much, sir.
Bye-bye now.
Orlando, Illinois, 708. Come on down.
Hello?
How you doing? Star 2 to raise your... Oop.
Yeah, can you
He
hear
muted
me?
himself. Yeah, star 2 to raise your hand.
Can you hear me
No,
now?
I can hear. Yes, I can hear you. Hold on. Don't say anything.
Okay.
You want to ask
All right.
a question? If you want to ask a question, star 2 to raise your hand. Everybody else. All right, go ahead.
Yeah, how you doing, Jerry?
Good. How are you doing?
All right, just one quick question. I appreciate everything you do. So if somebody really has 900 notes, they really going to give them something for all the notes? I'm just finding it, I just said, wow, the person I know got 900 notes. So I'm just trying to...
900 notes of the 100T notes?
Well, they got half and half. They got a lot of 500 million and a lot of 100 trillion.
Okay, well.
So I'm just trying to relate it back to them.
When they walk in and lay that down, they're going to say, yes, sir, how can we help you? And don't be hollering, show me the money. You better talk about your business plans, things like that.
Yeah.
Okay?
Okay, so the worst case scenario on the Zim, what you think the worst case scenario is? 3 cents?
I'm not going to talk dates or rates.
Oh, okay.
Not going to do it.
All right. All right. Thanks a lot. I appreciate it. Thanks.
Okay. Miracle Queen, is that you, girlfriend?
Yes, it is. How are you today?
Pretty good. I heard you on the other calls.
You have?
Yeah, I have.
Well, anyway, I want to wish you, Iko, and Joe, Art, a happy Father's Day.
Well, thank you.
Okay, that's all I wanted to say.
All right. Have a good day.
You too.
My computer is really slow today. It does not like me. Okay. Seymour, Indiana, 812. Come on down. Hello?
Hello?
Yes, sir. Go ahead.
Yeah, Jerry, I've got a question for you, and this is related to something you said on, I believe it was Monday. You said you was going to take an attorney with you into the exchange. I've talked to an attorney, and he is willing to go with me to the exchange. And I told him he'd more than likely have to sign an NDA, and he said, well, I think that you should have your own NDA, and everybody that's present signs it. And then he also said something about having a notary coming. What's your opinion on the NDA and having a notary to make it a legal binding document right then and there?
You know, if you can get a notary to go along, absolutely. But I have a sneaking suspicion that if you throw out some paperwork out there and you say, all right, I need you all to sign this too to protect myself, there might be a discussion go on, and I'm not sure how that would turn out. But yes, I would take an attorney with me. I think it's a great idea, to be honest with you.
Well, see, I was kind of wondering if the bank would be like, well, hold on, you're signing this, contract, whatever we're going to call it. It's been called 3 or 4 different things since the short time I've been involved in these calls. I've heard it called NDA. I've just heard it called some sort of contract, and there was another term. But I was just kind of curious. I wanted your opinion on what they would say if I pulled out my own NDA, because I don't want that small piece of paper to hold up a life-changing event for a lot of people.
The attorney that I'm going to take with me, I haven't contacted yet, because when you contact this particular attorney or attorney firm, you better have some money in your pocket. And then you want to take a contract attorney with you to read over what you're signing, so he can advise you about if there's any pitfalls, or can they attach an addendum to it down the road, because now there's that talk about where they can say, well, they can attach an addendum, make you re-sign, and if you don't, they might be able to come in and take all your money. I don't know. There's a lot of disinformation or even good information out there, but at this point, who knows? So we just have to protect ourselves.
Well, I guess I got lucky, because when I picked this guy, because he actually does a lot of contracts. That's one of the things he does, a lot of real estate contracts and things like that. So I guess the good Lord's been watching over me.
If he's willing to go, take him with you.
Okay. All righty. Well, I'll just have to see if they'll let him and the notary in the room. And I told him, I said, secrecy is the utmost important. I said, nobody who's involved in this can ever speak a word of it. So he's under the understanding that, it's loose lips sink ships.
Yep.
All right. Well, thank you, sir.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Las Vegas, Sin City, 702. Come on down.
Hey, Jerry, how you doing?
Good. How you doing today?
Good. Dominic from Vegas. You were talking about lawyers. What lawyer would you, what kind of lawyer would you look for to have go with you into the bank?
Contract.
Would it be a contract lawyer?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because if you're signing an NDA, then the bank wants you to sign something with them. It's going to be some form of a contract. You need a contract attorney.
Okay, I'll Google contract attorneys and try to find a good one then.
All right. Thank you, sir.
All right, I appreciate it. Thank you, man.
Ponca City, Oklahoma, 580. Come on down.
Hey.
How you doing?
Brett. Oh,
I know. Haven't heard from you in a
Pardon
while. I haven't seen your number in a while.
Well, I haven't seen that you was having calls lately. Today's the first time I saw where you was having a call today. It's been a while.
I've been doing 2 calls a week for a while now.
Cool. Right. Well, what about WSOMN doesn't have calls anymore, do they?
I don't know. I haven't been over there since February 28th.
Yeah.
I've been doing.
Well, no.
Yeah,
I understand. Well, I sure haven't seen your info. I don't know. But anyway, so are we getting close? to the.
As far as I know.
Well, that's what I'm hearing. Had some good intel last night on Big Call. Sounded good. Oh, I just touching base. Pardon, go ahead.
Well, I was going to say, everybody has great information, but nobody has been right yet. Darn it! It only takes one time, and then somebody's going to be the hero. I don't care who it is. Just let it be.
Right. Let's have it happen. Yeah. Okay. Well, hey, I'm going to get off here. Just touching in with you.
All right. Have a good day.
Okay. You too. Thanks.
Yelm, water on the web. Come on down. You've been hiding.
No, I haven't. How you doing, Jerry?
Yes, you have. You've been lurking in the background because, there's been a lot of other people on the web, but no water on the web.
Well, I thought I'd come in today and talk with you and ask you a couple of questions.
No, and no.
Oh, okay. Well, thank you very much. Thank you for taking my call.
Go ahead.
You talked about these people that have the high powered computers. So if they know when the RV is going to hit, they can profit from it. I don't understand how they can profit from it. Do you know?
Hold on just a second.
All right.
Oh, okay. Because transactions, they've got supercomputers that can steal money in milliseconds off of any transaction, or do a short or a long. Ico understands that better than I do, but we all know that that's what's called high frequency trading. Is they'll know about something and they'll say just before it happens, 5 seconds before it happens, they'll trigger their computer to do something that will make them bukus of money. So that's what this new system is about, is to do transactional tracking 40 steps backwards to help prevent this. And that's why nobody needs to know the date or the rate in advance.
Because I'm thinking, if, say, for example, are they, because I'm trying to figure it out myself. So, say, for example, when you get the RV and say you want to transfer like $1 million to your home bank account, do they go in and take off like a penny or something like that off everybody's account? Is that what they do? Something like that?
I guess. I don't know.
Oh, all right.
That's way above my pay grade. I'm redneck common sense. That's it.
Yeah, I was just curious how could they do that? Because I remember a while back, where on my account, almost each month, like a penny was missing. And I called up and asked, why is there a penny missing? Oh, it's, and I forgot what she told me. I said, I know it's a penny, but I want my penny back. And she credited my account back. My second question is, you said the charter banks are better than the federally chartered banks. What's the difference? Because that sounds good to me, but I'm not sure why.
I was talking about they gave up their federal charter and went back to a state charter.
Right.
You might just Google it and read it.
Is it because? Okay, go ahead.
It's pretty in depth, and I think that will explain everything.
Yeah, because I'm thinking maybe because the cabal is in charge of the central bank and maybe the federal. Yeah, I'll check it out too because I haven't heard that before, so I'll check it out and see. Because I'm thinking after RV, I don't want to put my money on just one location, but I want to kind of spread it out too. So that's another avenue I'll check out too. So
if you have enough, then locate a financial firm and legally let them guide you in placing your money offshore.
Yeah, I'll check that out too, because I have no idea how to do that. But
that's why you get a legal advice with a financial team that knows all about that, so that you don't get caught in the crosshairs and get yourself in a pickle.
Yeah.
All right.
Oh, well, thank you very much for taking my call, and I'll find a redneck and hug him.
Yes, ma'am. I'm available Monday, Wednesday, and Friday from noon to 1.
Okay, cyber hug. There you go.
All right. Bye.
Okay, bye.
Raleigh, North Carolina. Come on down.
Is that me?
That's you.
Hey, hello, Redneck Radio.
Oh. Hold on just a second. Don't go anywhere. Star 2 to raise your hand. Star 2 to raise your hand. Because we've only got literally one more person up here, but this is just an hour call today. There's enough information packed in there that you can go back and listen to the replay. All right, Raleigh, go ahead.
Hey, man. I just want to say thanks for the great calls that you do. One minor complaint on the music. I didn't hear my BTO today.
Sorry about that.
You can play Roll On Down the Highway. That'll be great whenever you get a chance. But a question.
Anyway, go ahead. Yes, sir.
I was going to say a question for Iko was he heard that the rates would be higher. Where is he hearing that from? The bank? Or is that a source that he deals with?
It's a reliable source. I can answer that for him.
I'm not trying to, pull out information. I'm just curious, where was that coming from? Okay. Cool.
Put it this way, it didn't come from DNR land intel providers. Okay?
All right.
There you go. You woke up the tiger. Way to go.
Hello, Monsignor Iko.
All right. What's your next question?
That's it, man. Thank you very much.
Thanks.
Keep up the great work.
All right. You're welcome. Well, home of the world's second best barbecue looks like Jimi Hendrix, 913. Boy, that's a blast from the past. Jimi Hendrix, come on down.
It's actually Jeannie.
I didn't, I was trying to not say your name there. It's Jimi Hendrix, okay?
Oh, well, thank you. I apologize. I just got on the call, so I haven't heard anything that you said today, but I do look at the Dinar Detective site, and I was wondering if you know who Oki is, and do you know what it means that he's landed?
Yes, I know Oki, and Oki has not landed yet.
Okay.
It was what do you call it? It was a touch and go.
Okay. And also, I've also heard about do you guys know anything about the Paris Agreement?
At the very beginning of the call, I put an all call out there. If you go back and listen to the very beginning of the call, the replay, you'll hear all about that. Okay?
Oh, wonderful. Okay. And are you guys going to have any type of gathering after this happens?
No.
No. Okay.
Now ask me why.
Why?
Because I want to maintain some sort of anonymity. There you go. That's a mouthful. Only, a couple people like my wingman and Art, just a couple others that we've been talking to. Because if you go with the push of a button from hand to mouth to millions and billions, you don't want people knowing who you are. Lay low.
Well, I suppose I'm going to have to change my name now.
Jimi Hendrix.
Yep.
Hey,
okay.
Iko, who was that lady with Jimi Hendrix? What was her name? Joan Baez or Kumbaya? I can't remember.
She wasn't with Jimmy, but Joan Baez, yeah.
Okay. You know, back in the day, gosh, we're dating ourselves really bad here. Yeah.
Well, I am
All right.
familiar. I may not be, well, I wasn't Woodstock era, but not too far after.
Okay. Anything else, ma'am?
No, I'll go back and listen to the call, and I just appreciate you guys and what you do. I know it's there's a lot of stuff out there to look at and weigh and measure, and I'm just grateful for your participation, what you do for us.
All right. Thank you.
Thanks. Bye-bye.
Oh, yeah, Janis Joplin. How come you didn't think about that, Iko? Let's see. It doesn't say a city, and I'm not going to say your name. 682, Boss Man, come on down.
Hey, hello. I just want to wish you all a happy Father's Day and appreciate all the work that you guys are doing. I have a question for Iko. I don't think this question's been asked before. I don't know if there is an answer.
Try to keep it simple for the simple people.
Okay. So, based on such wild exchange rates that we've been hearing about, other currencies like the Indian rupee might also be affected in terms of what they're worth against the dollar. So if we look at countries like India, Indonesia, to a lesser extent China, countries where large U.S. companies have lots of outsourcing and they have tremendous currency leverage from the dollar to those currencies because those people are paid in local currencies. And all of a sudden we have this revaluation. All of a sudden the dollar isn't worth very much. And they've got 20, 30, 40% of their workforce offshore. How can those companies survive that kind of a hit? That's my question.
Well, actually, they're not going to take a hit. This is one of those things that has been going on now for a long time. One of the problems to be solved with the global currency revaluation. The existing manufacturing costs, and landing stuff in the USA, that's not going to take a hit. What it's going to do, it's going to start to go toward what they're calling parity, where slowly but surely places like the Pacific Rim will not be any more advantageous to manufacturing than Colorado. It's going to take years to accomplish, but that's the whole reason. That's one of the big leveling functions of going to an asset-backed economy worldwide. Eventually, all currencies will reach parity. So there are, God only knows what the structure of those agreements looks like. But nobody's going to go bankrupt from the RV. It's only going to improve their situation. I guess that's the simplest way to say it. I used to buy a lot of product from China, and my friends who were still in the business I was in, they're basically saying that Chinese goods have started to increase. The cost for them has started to increase, but they've also been assured by there are these brokers that do all this, that basically do the handle the transaction between U.S. and Chinese manufacturers. They've been guaranteed that there will not be a disruption in price structure. So I don't know if that helps you.
I can understand on the goods, but in terms of like services and salaries, like in India, it's 10 or 12 to 1. So you have an engineer in the U.S. and you can get 10 or 12 engineers in India for the at the same skill level, relatively speaking, right? And so if the rupee all of a sudden is worth 5-6 times what it was against the U.S. dollar, I mean, it's going to take decades to move all that employment over here.
Well, but what I'm being told is it won't take decades.
Well, how do you just immediately fire 50 million
like
people and replace them?
Well, again, in very simple language, India is going to declare once China declares they are asset-backed. India, Russia, all of the BRICS nations, plus 180 other nations, are also going to declare that they are asset-backed. They're prepared to do so. The only people who are claiming they're not prepared are the Western players like the U.S. Yeah, the fiat people.
Fiat currency people.
But they will be forced. What will happen is the dollar will be instantly less than toilet paper if the majority of the world goes asset backed. They will be able to pay for all goods, including oil, which is of course the big one, in other currencies. There will be no petrodollar once these countries declare they are asset backed. And for example, when the U.S. does then declare it is asset backed, right now it's at 6. The yuan is at 6.5 to 1, for example. When everybody is asset backed, it'll be closer to 1 to 1. It'll be like the relationship we have with Canada. So
basically, what I hear you saying is everything has to be repriced.
Yes, it will, and they haven't been sitting on their laurels on this. There are plans in place everywhere to make parity occur as quickly as possible. I've heard in as little as 6 months and as much as 2 years, but I haven't heard much beyond that. It's the big ticket items are almost immediately in parity. Like, for example, buying jets from Boeing. A lot of the more popular electronics, like the television sets and the stereos and all that, that'll go almost immediately and gradually. I mean, you nailed it with the service industry jobs. They'll take the longest, and also real estate is going to be hugely problematic because all of a sudden, you bought a house for $600,000 and now it's only worth $200,000 asset-backed dollars, and you go to sell it, you're going to have a hard time wrapping your mind around that. But the buying power also increases dramatically with the asset-backed dollars. So even though, let's say you're only getting, $1 for your old $4, your buying power is now multiplied by 4. So it's hard to explain in the 5 minutes.
That makes sense.
They've got it worked out.
The bottom line is, can they do this in a way that doesn't crash it?
Yes. However, there will be short-term
earnings projections, and they're going to say, "Oh my God, they lost all their leverage," and so we're going to say all negative growth on all these companies. That would be devastating to the stock market. Right?
Yes, there's going to be some hyperinflation involved. There's hyperinflation involved. It's going to be a rough few months, especially as you got to remember, we've been following this. The majority of people have not been following it. This is going to be a real healthy shock, including most of the financial advisors community. They don't know anything about this, or they don't want to know about it. They think it's a sham. There's going to be some adjustment. I think the one thing as people who are benefiting from this RV, one thing that we need to constantly put out is that yes, there's some short-term discomfort, but the long-term you're going to be better off. And people will say, "Explain it to me," and just like I'm bumbling through it now, trying to explain it to you, it's going to be hard to explain to people. But they will see
redneck language. Redneck language dictates cash is king.
Yes, that's right.
Cash is going to be king because, or cash equivalents, money market, because that's it.
Mm-hmm.
You'll be able to buy these things much lower that are trading in the market.
Exactly.
Okay.
Thank you very much for that explanation.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you.
So here's a redneck version of how your purchasing power will go up. Remember when bread was 25 cents a loaf? I do. That's when we had purchasing power. So when this kicks in, you're going to see bread drop back to a reasonable price, not so inflated. I'm not sure how long that will take, but then you'll know that your purchasing power goes up when the price of daily food items start to drop. Milk, bread, homegrown food, things like that. I have a frog today, and for some reason it's hung up and won't come out. So, Iko, sum it up for us, and then we're out of here like a fart in the wind.
Well, there's, how shall I put it? With all of the hoopla and all of the fantastic predictions and all of the various viewpoints around our political system and what's going to happen, the one thing that is consistent is, if you'll notice, the international rates have pretty much become established. The timeline, granted, we've been looking for it for the past 3 months, but if you think about this as a 50-year plan, it was started at, we are at the very end. We're at the very, very, very end. And even though it's hard on a lot of us, because a lot of us are starting to get those letters and those notices, we are about done. And if you look at over the past 6 months, what the intel that's come out is, you can see that one by one, the steps in the process have been satisfied. They may not have been satisfied as quick as we want, but they have been satisfied. And a lot of folks out there who are intelligent intel providers all talk about an event-driven process. So one by one, the steps get completed. Sometimes it's kind of muddy in how they got completed, but 3 or 4 weeks down the road, it becomes mainstream knowledge. Yeah, it was completed. It was done last month. And a perfect example of that this week is the Paris Agreement. Is there hidden language in that? Maybe, maybe not. But the gist of what they're saying needed to be done, that appears to be the case. Regardless of what form it showed up in, a couple of weeks from now, we're going to see that, yep, that happened. That piece happened, that piece happened, this piece happened. So we really are right. We are in the final stages of the events that are required for the RV and the GCR to take place. So I guess that, I hope that brings comfort to some folks. And also these rumors that literally just appeared in the past few days about the value of the currency. I won't even call it rates. The value of the currencies rising is a function of the fact that as the dollar weakens, the exchange rate increases against the dollar. So more time went by. That's math. Okay.
I remember the question I was going to ask you. The shipping. Did you probably haven't had? Has anything been coming our direction? Because before you answer, quickest way to also, it will hurt us more than it will hurt the PTBs or all that, is if the U.S. gets put underneath an economic blockade. Now, corporations will start squealing, because when I say economic blockade, the ships can show up or they can sit out there offshore and, get stuck with the left rudder hung all the way left, making big circles going until you give us some type of money with some backing other than the worthless FRN.
Yep.
That's an economic blockade. They won't deliver their products, and pretty soon we start having a shortage and all stuff. And yes, we make our own gas, we make our own oil, and all that, but it's the container ships. If they're not dropping product at the ports.
Right. Well, here's what I can say. Here's the problem. You really need to look at shipping for 5 days in a row to get even a snapshot of where things are at. But what I did see today is that the volume outside of Galveston, which is our biggest oil point, is probably half of what it was last month. But of course, supposedly it's summertime now. That may explain that away. But also Port Newark doesn't look real busy. Those are the only two places I looked at here before I had to run out. I will say that most of the destinations for the tankers leaving the Persian Gulf are Asian. They're going down to India. They're going around to the Pacific Rim. And the other one that I did notice was I didn't get a chance to really research all the destinations, but the North Sea oil fields, which everybody seems to forget, are huge and major volume, is probably as much as the Persian Gulf. Again, very busy. Nobody's sitting around. That's the one thing that's common of the observations I made today about the world shipping, is that shipping is moving. And there are very few mooring fields that are overcrowded. So that's all I've got on that right now. It just means somebody's paying their bills somewhere. I don't know what what currencies they're being paid in, but my guess is it isn't USD based on all the other conversations that are going on about the U.S. dollar. And also the yen is below $1.05 now, which was supposedly the tipping point for their bond market to start falling big time. So that's going to be another interesting thing to watch over the weekend. How everybody opens up Sunday night. Hopefully we won't even care because we will be at the banks. But just in case we aren't, that's something to look for Sunday night. What shape Japan's going to be in.
Thank you.
Yep. Thank you.
Well, we seem to have staved off on the highway to hell. One more call. We're making inroads back, I guess. As I like to say, they asked me, how you going? And on the canoe going to hell in a handbasket. But we're not quite there yet. That's a joke. So, Lord, thank you for your guidance today. Let the people hear that need to hear, understand, and please protect us and guide us. And we ask this in your Son's name, Jesus Christ. Amen. All right, everybody, thank you very much. Goodbye.
The conference is now completed. Goodbye. Welcome.